Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, and welcome back to Lindsey Stevenson. Lindsey is the health and nutrition expert for the Missouri Extension Office. Lindsey's been on, but that was pre-pandemic, so I feel like we're starting fresh, and we should start fresh because Lindsey is here to talk about Live Well Month. And Lindsey, I just want to reiterate, have you reiterate, please, that while we call it Live Well Month, it really is a movement.
Yes. So family and consumer science professionals across the country working for Cooperative Extension work every day to promote living well in different aspects of their life, in an individual's life, maybe in a family or a community.
And we've kind of broken this down into 8 different tips that we can kind of go by. And I tell you what, if you could kind of walk us through and just give us kind of a brief overview. I know some of these that are going to be, rather self-explanatory here, but some of these too, I look at those 8 points right there: mental, social, emotional. I would not have thought about financial as being part of one of our spokes. What is occupation? When you talk about occupational, what exactly is that?
So that's just being in tune with your career and what you're doing for your job. Is it in line with your values and your beliefs? Do you enjoy what you do? Is there another avenue you could take, or is there something you could do at your workplace to make it more enjoyable for yourself? Just making sure your work is in line with your values.
It's interesting too that another one of those right after that is environmental, because I know that one of the things that you talk about is perhaps it's mental and physical. Gardening.
Yes. Gardening is great because it touches on so many different spokes of wellness. So it's physical activity, but being in touch with nature, that's beneficial for our health, and part of our environmental wellness is interacting with nature. And a lot of times people find gardening helpful with their mental health as well.
Almost a stress reliever, is that
right?
Would that be? And you have to forgive me, I don't have a garden. But I do know from the calendar that it's prime time to get our gardens in gear. And speaking of calendars, I know that through the Missouri Extension Office and really nationwide that you guys have developed a Live Well Month calendar. Is that correct?
Right. The National Extension Association of Family and Consumer Sciences is the one who really promotes Living Well Month. And we created a calendar for March. It's 31 days of living well. And every day you can find simple ways to get in touch with one of the 8 dimensions of wellness to find a little way to improve your life.
What are some of the days that we have coming up off the top of your head that perhaps you're looking forward to?
One of them is to eat from at least 3 food groups on one day. There's 5 total food groups. One of them is to create a budget. Let's see, another one is to give someone a compliment.
And you know what? That's easy enough that we should be doing those each and every day, especially that last one. I want to ask you from your professional standpoint that while we focus in on a month, and that brings awareness, and it puts things at the forefront, how do we transition from making those days on a calendar for 1 month into steady lifetime habits?
Well, I think sustainable changes come from making small, consistent steps. So take that calendar or whatever you're working on right now and make it a habit. Do it the same time every day, and over time it'll just become natural. But start small. Don't try to do too much all at once.
To do something like this, as long as that you've done it, you've been at the Missouri Extension Office now 7 years, am I correct?
Right.
You have got to be passionate about what you do. So I kind of put you on the spot. What got you interested into this as far as education-wise, and what gives you the impetus to wake up every morning, go to work, and make sure that you spread the word about wellness?
Well, I guess it started for me when I was trying to decide what I wanted to do with my life, and I thought about actually opening a candy shop.
Really?
And then I just did a total flip 180, discovered that this wellness field existed, and that's where my passion lies. I was involved in physical activity my whole life. And what I love working on now is what we call policy system and environmental change. And I love that part of my job because we're kind of like community educators.
Sure.
But I can give you all the education in the world. But if you don't have the policy, the system, or the environment to support that education, then it's really done you no good.
So and forgive me if I'm not trying to dumb this down, I'm trying to understand it. What you do is you take a pipe dream and something that sounds good and say, Michael, here's how it becomes a reality and here's what you need to make it work?
Somewhat. So For example, I might sit on a school wellness board and help them develop policies for their school so that the students and the teachers can live healthier while they're at school. One of my favorite programs is Eat Smart to Play Hard, and that's an environmental change. It helps concessions in schools provide healthier items. They get to keep their favorite classic concession stand items, but they can also provide some healthier items and still make a profit on it.
Well, I think that's a perfect opportunity then to say, if people are interested in this, whether you be part of a school in your community, or perhaps it's be great for a business as well, how do they contact you? How do we get in touch with you so you can kind of guide us down this path?
So every county in Missouri, and even in Kansas, we have our colleagues with Kansas State Extension. Every county has an office. You can go to extension.missouri.edu and find your county and all that contact information. For Barton County, it's 682-3579. For Jasper County, it's
We can look it up.
Look it up. I'm going to forget it.
Hit the Google button, folks. No, but once again, that's the Missouri Extension Office. And Lindsey, for anybody out there, and once again, I love the fact that you're interested in the policy and environmental changes that can be made, because it also shows me that you want it to be sustainable. Once you put that in place, that trickle-down effect really kicks into gear.
Right.
Lindsey Stevenson of the Missouri Extension Office. She is a health and nutrition expert, folks. Don't hesitate to give her a call. I want to thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.